about starting a marketing plan on my farm, how do I start? What are some of the things I got to think about right off the bat?
Well, it's your farm. Obviously, when you're talking about a marketing plan, marketing the various crops you're going to have, first thing we need is inventory. What do we got to sell? So we'd start with our inventory. What have I already got committed? What have I sold somewhere? Have I got a basis contract on some of my canola? Marketing plan, very, very simply, just starts with what you have in inventory, and then we have to decide what we're going to do with it going forward. So what are the constraints? What comes into play? Why do I need to sell it? Well, what about cash flow? I mean, every operation is different, and this is the thing that when it comes to marketing, you can't blanket statement. We can't just say sell 20% of your canola and it means the same thing for everybody. It can't. My cash flow is different than yours, than the other guy down the road. Guy 20 miles away, guy in Alberta's cash flow is completely different from a guy in southern Manitoba. So you have to be able to look at your cash flow needs and say, okay, I'm going to need X number of dollars at the end of October, I'm going to need X number of dollars at the end of December, and then I got a big chunk going out in spring. So how do I plan for those sales? Got to get out in front of that. Storage capacity. If I'm looking at a marketing plan, building this new crop here, I've got an idea what I'm going to seed, what I'm going to grow, how much of that I'm going to store versus what I need to move off combine. If I'm 20% over capacity, which would be a great scenario for most of us, great yields, great year, what am I going to do with that? Do I need to have a plan in place? Am I going to be bagging that stuff, or is it going to need to be moving off combine? So those are a few that right off the top, some of the things you got to be thinking about when it comes to a marketing plan.
So maybe talk about a little bit about what's one of the mistakes or one of the things that guys jump in too quick on, or they miss, or something like that.
So when you look at potential pitfalls when you're thinking about the marketing plan, a lot of times we get caught in that trap of marketing to cash. I like to say it's a lot of times we find ourselves going out and playing. The bill comes in, you're like, holy crow, I need 100 grand, and you go play eeny, meeny, miny, mo in the bin yard, crack the door, sell it to the elevator. That necessarily, if that happened exactly as the markets are peaking every time, fantastic. Who needs a marketing plan? But those types of pitfalls, we fall into those all the time. You get caught up in some of the areas where, the storage one is another perfect predicament we find ourselves in. And again, it's a great problem to have. Our yields, we're 15% over our yield projections. Great, but now what? You find yourself in the combine, holy crow, I don't want to throw all this stuff on the ground. I got to find a home for it. And again, you're selling into that harvest glut. You're selling into a spot market that is overrun by these same situations. So that's another pitfall you try to avoid.